In this tutorial, what we're going to take a look at is what we've done with the absolute versus relative coding. Now, if you test your movie now, you should be able to have both your on and off buttons work for both your relative and absolute coding sections. Now, what we're going to do is make it so it doesn't work anymore. And the way we do this is just select both of these together, and let's insert these inside of a new movie clip. So I'm going to right click, choose convert to symbol, and it doesn't really matter what we call this movie clip for right now because we're just going to do this for testing purposes. Now if we test our movie, we should get some errors, and it says a term is undefined and has no properties, and this happens a couple times. And what we're getting here is a break with the absolute coding. If you click on the absolute coding buttons now, you shouldn't have it working. And the reason why is because we've changed the nesting order of where our movie clips are. So that's not going to work anymore. Our relative, however, does work. If you click on the buttons there, we should indeed be able to get it to work. And the reason why is because we've not changed the relative position of those movie clips, and we can nest the relative parts or the relative elements together any way that we want, as long as we don't change how they are related to each other in position. So hopefully that makes sense, but it's a really powerful thing to have this relative coding throughout your projects, because if you move around your structure, it allows you to have a certain amount of flexibility of changing your nesting of things without breaking your code. And this is something that's done a little bit more in object-oriented programming than in Flash currently, where we tend to have more code on the main timeline. But it's a really nice coding technique for you to create more flexible environments for your designs. Anyway, what I'd like you to continue on with is the next part. So what I do need to do is break this apart. And I want you to notice when I choose break apart and I come back to this, I've noticed before that it changes your instance name. Somehow it deleted the instance name, and I'm not really sure why it does that when you choose break apart. So you just need to be aware of that, and then go back and give that light1_MC, then test your movie and make sure that it does indeed work now. And we fixed that error. Anyway, with your light bulb here, what we're going to be doing is using the relative coding again. So we're going to go inside of this movie timeline. We're going to go inside of the timeline of the light bulb. And this light bulb actually doesn't even really matter if I have an instance name, because we're never really using that. But anyway, I'm going to go inside here, and I've got this particular one has my buttons for the threads, and that's where the action goes for that threads. Then I go inside of it one more time, and that's where I have the button for the bulb, and that's where the action goes there. And so what we're going to be doing is using relative coding, and we'll be putting the code here on that action layer, and that will go back 2 parents to the light bulb animation in order to play that timeline. And for the threads, it will go back only 1 parent in order to make the main light bulb timeline play. So you should be able to get that to work. The next thing you're going to be doing is working with this, which is a little bit more complicated, but not so bad. If you go inside of it, we have 2 movie clips here, a small stoplight and a large stoplight. We've got 3 buttons inside this stoplight. We have a yellow caution in the middle, we have a green go at the bottom, and a red stop at the top. And you'll see that we have those 3 sections there. And what you're going to do is when you click on the buttons, you're going to jump to that section of this particular timeline, as well as make the small light bulb go to that section, and then also do the other changes here. When you click on the red button, you're going to stop the car wheels from moving and have the guy run across. When you click on the green, you're going to play the car wheels. So if we look back at that, we've got our car here, and it's got a front wheel and a back wheel that are both animations there. So there's a little bit of stuff to target here. We're going to be using relative paths only, which means that you're going to be using that, not really using the insert target path tool, but you're going to have to make sure that you reference your names. And then also you'll be working with, of course, that idea of parent. So parent back to the traffic group. And save your work when you're done, and that's the end of this tutorial. Thanks.